the councils were actually trucking out water with government money to our property. But there's a lot of connections now coming up that it seems that blue-green algae can actually lead to diseases like motor neuron disease. And yet they were giving us water that has come from like blue-green algae-filled water and saying you can drink it. Like, people were genuinely like, are these people trying to kill us? So my name's Kate McBride and I'm a 5th generation farmer from Western New South Wales. I was born and brought up on a property called Talano Station, which is a 500,000 acre sheep property. So we run sheep and goats, and it's located right on the Darling River, or the lower Darling River below Menindee Lakes. So that's like where I was born and brought up and everything. Did all my schooling in South Australia, and then have sort of returned back to the property now and work there as a station hand. But I also have a number of other jobs, including the fact that I'm a Healthy River Ambassador. So that's what a lot of my work goes into, is fighting for better management within the Murray-Darling Basin. The government has given out too many water licences, and that is one of the sole reasons that the Darling River is dying and the Murray isn't healthy at all. Like, I've seen my town just be gutted. You know, we lost jobs, and all of a sudden, as soon as you lose jobs or population, you lose services.
The Murray-Darling Basin Plan that came into effect it was proposed around 2012, or became into law, and then.
Yeah.
And there's been 13 billion spent on that.
Not all of that's been spent yet, but so it's sort of, because it's such a big plan, it has to happen over a lot of years. So the Basin Plan hasn't actually been fully enacted yet. You know, there's still these projects going on. I don't think stuff's meant to be fully implemented until 2024, but states are actually trying to push that date further back now, which we think is really alarming. You know, we are pushing for the full Basin Plan to be implemented in full and on time.
So why would they be pushing that back?
Well, the biggest thing, because the whole, like, you know, the Basin Plan's a really complex thing, but essentially it was us recognising that we've taken too much water from the environment and put it into agriculture, and that we need to take a whole bucket load and give it back to the environment. And so that's done through a number of things like buybacks, like infrastructure projects, and things like that. Now, those infrastructure projects haven't been put in place, and we're actually fighting against them because they do not, often, most of them, do not return real water. The cheapest and most effective way to put water back into the river is through buybacks. And so that's going to willing sellers through an open tender process and buying their water back off them. So many issues could be fixed if we just managed the water properly. You look at the township of Wilcannia as well, because it's not just a jobs issues. I mean, this is people's lives. So it's got a life expectancy for a male of 37 years old. For a female, it's 42. Like, so what a just travesty to have a population in Australia that are dying at that age. And we know that when we put water, when the river is healthy, the life expectancy of Wilcannian locals goes up and the crime rate decreases. Because these are, a lot of them are Barkinji people. So that's, you know, the Aboriginal people from out our way. Now, they don't call the Darling River they don't call the Darling River the Darling, they call it the Barker. They are the river people. And they have such a connection to this river that when it is sick or not there, these people die younger. And all we have to do is get our water management back, and we can extend these people's lives. We can get jobs back in rural towns. We can have booming townships again, which is what I grew up with. You know, I grew up as Menindee, which is 45 k's from us, as a booming town. You'd go in and you'd get your fruit, and, you know, people were there and they were happy because they had jobs and money to spend. And now they don't have that. Now it's a dead town. And it's like, I hate saying that, but it is. And they just get one thing after another, you know. First it was the water management, and then of course the drought hit, and that was really bad for them. And now we've got COVID hitting as well. And so it's just something after another, and it's no wonder people are leaving. But that's why, you know, one thing that people can do after, you know, COVID calms down and everything like that, get out and see your country. put money back into these townships because they need it so badly.
I think you mentioned on Australian Story your interest in getting into politics as well. So I wanted to touch on that. Is that still something on the horizon that you're looking into?
Yeah, I think so. I just love Western New South Wales, and I think that's, you know, there are so many ways that people can make a difference, but I think that I could, you know, make a difference in that way, sort of thing, and actually really represent the people of Western New South Wales, because that's what we need, someone that'll just stand up and actually, you know, say what they want to say rather than having to toe the party line. But yeah, at the moment I'm just getting a bit more life experience and working my other jobs and stuff, but it's definitely yeah, something in the not too distant future that, yeah, I can see myself going down that path for sure.